Welcome to Fillmore Central versus Wilber-Clatonia here. We're glad you're here. That was our pregame show presented by Wilber Physical Therapy with Dr. Stacy Brandt. And now we are underway. It's 3rd and 12 for Wilber-Clatonia. They started with the football. He didn't miss much, folks. It was a holding penalty on Wilber-Clatonia on the kickoff return, a running play of no gain, and then a sack by Fillmore Central. So it is 3rd and 12 for Wilber-Clatonia in their white away uniforms. Play action for Carter Skleba. Skleba looking downfield and rolls to his left. He's getting pressured and got the pass off in time as he was getting pressured by Dylan Gowecki. So it's an immediate 4 and out for Wilber-Clatonia, exactly what they did not need to start this game against the number 7 team in Class C2, Fillmore Central. Fillmore Central, the home team in tonight's game, undefeated 3-0 in their all-black uniforms. And Wilber-Clatonia, their mascot are the Wolverines. So they do have that Michigan Wolverines type helmet with all green in the background and some white claw-like stripes along the helmet. Green pants and white shirts for them tonight. A short punt, which bounces at the 30 and bounces all the way out to the 39-yard line. So that is where Fillmore Central will take place, the Wilber-Clatonia 38-yard line. So this could be an interesting situation here. And now it's time for the senior quarterback, Trevin Stasines of Fillmore Central, 6'3", 170, ready to lead this offense and try to get on the board early here for Fillmore Central, for the Panthers. You just don't want to let Wilber-Clatonia really, or rather, you don't want to let Wilber-Clatonia's defense start off strong. Here's a running play by Trevor Roach, the running back. Picks up about 3 yards, and it'll be 2nd and 7. Trevor Roach had a really good, or has had a really good season here. Well, in the last game, he had 17 carries for 220 yards, 2 touchdowns. Trevor Roach this year, he's only played 1 game. And they have another guy in Luke Kimbrough, who's also really good. So 2nd and 6 for Fillmore Central. They take the snap, and they'll hand it off around the edge. There goes Roach to the near sideline. He's got some space. He gets dragged down by the horse collar, and that's going to be a penalty. A penalty on Carter Skleba. So the quarterback on defense commits a penalty, and that's going to be a horse collar on Wilber-Clatonia. You can hear the fans chanting, "You can't do that." You don't really see horse collars too often anymore in football, with coaching being as good as it is on every level. You usually see those clean tackles a lot. It's usually the face masks that end up drawing the penalties. Well, we see a horse collar on just the 2nd offensive play of Fillmore Central's opening drive. So the penalty is a 15-yard penalty. They'll go down to the 19-yard line, 1st and 10 inside the red zone for Fillmore Central, looking to start off strong. 2 tailbacks lined up. They're going to hand it off up the middle for Luke Kimbrough, breaking tackles inside the 10, inside the 5, and he's met at about the 3 or 4 yard line. So big pickup of about 15 yards makes it 1st and goal. Fillmore Central trying to score the opening touchdown of this game. Of course, we talked about Kimbrough. We also talked about Roach. They're both lined up in the backfield, and they're going to hand it off to Kimbrough, cutting upfield, and he gets into the end zone for the touchdown. Fillmore Central did not take the number 7 team in Class C2 in the state of Nebraska long to score an opening touchdown, and they do. And it's 6-0, Panthers on top over the Wolverines. It's a 4-yard touchdown run from the senior Luke Kimbrough, the tailback. He gets into the end zone for the touchdown. That is his 6th rushing touchdown of the season. And now the extra point going to be committed here by Dylan Gowecki. And the kick is right through the upright. So we'll take a break. Fillmore Central starts strong, 7-0, leading it. Wilber-Clatonia needs to respond. This is All Red 99.5's Marquee High School Match of the Week. Welcome back to Geneva, Nebraska. Despite the earlier rain here in the city, which has traveled south towards Fairbury, actually. It should be actually hitting Fairbury right about now. But the fans have come out. The student section is pretty filled up. It looks like it's Hawaiian night here for Fillmore Central. And the fans, the parents, and the grandparents have filled up as well. Fillmore Central to kick it off. And they boot it deep. This one's taken at about the 15-yard line by Wilber-Clatonia. They fake the pitch, and instead of running it to the outside is Carter Skleba. He tries to get across the 20, but instead he's wrapped up and brought down at the 19-yard line. So about a 4-yard return for Skleba. And Skleba will now come right back out, or will actually stay out on the field and now be in the quarterback position. Actually, he ran over to the sideline to get the play from coach and then ran right back out. Head coach for the Wolverines, Lynn Juergens, talked to him in the pregame interview. He had a lot of confidence in this team, but he said that they had to play perfect against Fillmore Central. This is no easy task. They know that they're a young lineup, but they want to make the postseason after missing it last year. 1st and 10 from the 19. They hand it off to the tailback, trying to cut upfield across the 20. Makes a couple men miss, but gets met at the 21. But Carson Radcliffe, nowhere to go. The tailback, pickup of about 2 yards on the play. Actually, mark it about 3, and it'll make it 2nd and 7. So they say no gain, but actually, correction, folks, marked him at the 17. So that's actually a short gain of about a 1 yard. So make it 2nd and 9. So Fillmore Central forced Wilber-Clatonia to a 3-and-out on their opening drive, and they're looking to try and do that again here. Nearly 4 minutes into the opening quarter. They lead 7-0, Fillmore Central. Sends a man in motion. Ty Coleman. He takes the end around to the far side, tries to cut upfield, and you know what, folks, he's going to lose some yards. He gets wrapped up by the entire defensive line of Fillmore Central. One of the guys in there was a senior, Jackson Turner. To tackle him for a loss of about 2 yards. It'll be 2nd and 12, or rather 3rd and 12 coming up here. The run play for Wilber-Clatonia, very good. That is what they focus their game on. But all of a sudden, Fillmore Central, they have kind of came up and met Wilber-Clatonia in the backfield on these run plays multiple times. 3rd and long coming up here for the Wolverines. Seems like they might have a little bit of miscommunication here. Jack Zimmerman lined up on the near side along with Skleba. Or rather, it's Cooper Palmer, correction. He goes in motion, play action for Skleba. He's looking downfield, steps up in the pocket, and he's going to go down again. A sack of 1 yard. And getting in there was Hunter Lukes, the senior, to pick up the sack. And another 3-and-out for Wilber-Clatonia to begin this game. What a start for the defense of the Fillmore Central Panthers. This is why they're ranked so high, folks, because they can do stuff like this. Hunter Lukes came into this game with no sacks but 3 tackles for loss. Well, have yourself a night, Hunter Lukes, picking up his first sack of the season for the Panthers. So he's punting it at the goal line now on 4th and long, and he'll get this one. Oh, it's blocked. It is blocked by Fillmore Central. And he's going to recover it in the end zone for the touchdown. It's blocked by the QB, Trevin Stasinez. Touchdown, Fillmore Central. They don't need to bring their offense out. Their special teams gets the job done. And a disastrous start for Wilber-Clatonia to begin this game. It was a risky play, having to punt it at your own goal line, and it comes back to haunt the Wolverines. Not the best start to this game. Fillmore Central, 7th ranked in the state for a reason. 6:38 to play in the first, and the extra point is good. 14-0 Fillmore Central, courtesy of the blocked punt for the touchdown. We'll be back after this on Ole Red 99.5. Welcome back to our Ole Red 99.5 Marquee High School Match of the Week. This match of the week is sponsored by Fortify Group Insurance and Real Estate with offices in Geneva, Shickley, and Davenport. Geneva Home Center, as well as Crete Area Medical Center, Wilbur and Friend Medical Clinics, and Smith Auto in Pawnee City. Learn more at smithauto.ne.com. Thank you to Friend Fertilizer as well, your Reinke dealer and friend. Well, we're in Geneva tonight. It's a little bit of a chilly night. The sweatshirts having to be brought out by the fans for the first time since about June. This kick is deep and taken at the 15-yard line by Cash Kessler. He's going to try to go to the far side. Oh, and he gets wrapped up and brought down to the 18-yard line. There's a flag on the play from the near side official. There is still a flag. We'll see what the call is here. Didn't quite see anything. All I saw was the elite special team coverage of Fillmore Central. I mean, so far on these kickoffs, Wilber-Clatonia has really not had anywhere to go. This looks like it's going to be on Wilber-Clatonia there. I believe it's an illegal block. So 6:31 to play in the opening quarter. Wilber-Clatonia already trails 14-0, and now they get a penalty on them on the kickoff. So just not at all what the Wolverines wanted to start their game. They knew that it was going to be a tough game, but they want to get back to where they have been in the last few years at the top of C2, at least in southeast Nebraska. But a few graduates last season and a young roster, and now they're having to go up against a really experienced and quick Fillmore Central defense. 1st and 10, all the way back inside the 10-yard line at the 8-yard line for Wilber-Clatonia. This is not going to be easy at all for the Wolverines. But if anybody can do it, it can be Skleba, the quarterback. Radcliffe in the backfield. Skleba decides to run it himself, gets a few yards, and he's out to the 10-yard line. Call it a pickup of about 3 yards, make it 2nd and 7. Turner was there for the tackle.
About 3 on the play. Bring up 2nd and 7.
Well, Fillmore Central,
From the 11-yard line.
22 tackles for loss this season, 6 sacks. And they do have a 1 interception, 3 fumble recoveries. So this team is pretty good on defense. And I think Wilber-Clatonia has figured that out early on in this one. 2nd and 7 for the Wolverines. Skleba, he'll run it himself. It's a quarterback run, designed run. He'll get forward to the 15. Call it a gain of 3, and it's going to be 3rd and 4 coming up here for Wilber-Clatonia. I mean, this Wilber-Clatonia team, St. Cecilia and Fillmore Central in their division are both undefeated, 3-0 to begin the season. Well, Wilber-Clatonia brought St. Cecilia in week 1 down to the wire in their home opener. They lost that game by 6 points, and then they proceeded to beat Louisville by 22 points and then beat Doniphan Trumbull by 9 points in a high-scoring 49-40 affair. 3rd and short. Here's a flip to the outside. It's Cooper Palmer on the far side racing across the 20 and down to the 25. It's a big pickup of about 10 yards, and that's enough for a 1st down. So they go with the option play. Skleba flipping it out to Palmer. Now Carson Radcliffe and Cooper Palmer, the 2 tailbacks tonight for Wilber-Clatonia. They'll switch on every play or every other play. But a nice run there for Palmer to pick up the 1st down for Wilber-Clatonia. They don't want to let this game get any more out of hand than it already is. 4:45 to play in the 1st quarter. 14-0 Fillmore Central, courtesy of a 4-yard rushing touchdown and a blocked punt. Skleba to pass, looking in the flat, and he tried to pass it to Radcliffe in the flat on a screen play, but it was overthrown and off his hands. And it'll be 2nd and 10 from the 25-yard line. One thing that I saw in the warm-ups was a couple drop passes from both teams, and that's because, well, the grass is still wet. The rain it wasn't really too long since the rain hit here in Geneva. And the ball is wet because the grass is wet, so let's see how these receivers and these tailbacks, even the quarterbacks as well, can adjust to the slippery ball. Skleba, it's a design to run, and he got tripped up on a gain of 1 yard. What a tackle on the play. What a tackle. Fillmore Central getting in there. Jackson Turner was in there. Number 53, the senior. What a tackle, because it looks like Skleba might end up getting a few yards on that design run. And what a tackle by Turner, just clipping his ankles and making him fall after a gain of 1. 3rd and 9 coming up here. We see Ty Kuhlman, the senior, run out on the field late. See where he ends up lining up. He'll line up here on the near side with 3 other Wilber-Clatonia receivers. 3rd and 9 for the Wolverines. Skleba to pass, looking at the near side, and has a lot of time to throw it. Now he launches it deep. This is going to be pass interference on Fillmore Central, is intended at the end of the day for Kuhlman, who was deep downfield, and he was tripped up by Jaron Tweedy, the safety for Fillmore Central. This is going to be pass interference on the Panthers. So the first defensive mistake of the night seen by Fillmore Central so far. What a job well done by Skleba. He just took a shot downfield over the middle and gave his receiver a shot. And his receiver, you know what? Who knows what could have happened if he didn't get tripped. He could have jumped up and made that catch. So the refs have still not made the call yet. Now they do. They're moving the chains up, and they're also moving the ball up. So it's a 15-yard penalty in high school for pass interference. It'll bring Wilber-Clatonia to their own 42, nearly out to midfield for the first time in this game. They're not backed up with their backs to their own end zone. Skleba. It's a low snap, went right through his legs, and Skleba has to jump on it back at the 35. It's a big loss of 7 yards. It's going to be 2nd and 17 here. Oh, it's a low snap by the Wolverines. And, you know, Skleba did the right thing, went right through his legs and behind him, and he just jumped on the ball, didn't even risk picking it up and trying to make a play. Over on the sideline, on the far sideline, with the away team, head coach Lynn Juergens clapping at his offense. He knows what they can do. They just need to get a spark here. So 2nd and long, 2nd and 17. Skleba to pass. Goes in the flat. It's complete to Palmer, who breaks a few tackles and gets across the 35 to the 36. Mark at a gain of 1 yard. 3rd and 16 coming up here for Wilber-Clatonia. It was a pass to the near side in the flat. Just trying to let your tailback do something with it. And Fillmore Central was there the entire way. 2:45 to play in the opening quarter. This has been a quick opening quarter. A lot of rushing plays by both teams. Not too many passes, at least incomplete passes, I should say. 3rd and long for Wilber-Clatonia. 3 receivers lining up on the far side for the Wolverines. Skleba has Radcliffe in the backfield. Skleba rolling to his right, looking downfield. He's going to launch it deep down the field, getting separation, and then unable to make the catch was Kenneth Gura.
Downfield for number 40.
Wow. So that was not Gura. It was actually Aiden Zychek, but he got some separation and almost dove to make that catch. It was just overthrown by Skleba and incomplete for 4th and long. So punting it is going to be Skleba again. Skleba having to stay out on the field in many situations. He's a large part of this team. And Fillmore Central's returner back at his own 30. They blocked the last punt. They won't block this one. This is a really good punt taken at the 23. A fair catch was signaled on the play by Dylan Gowecki. So we'll take a quick, actually we'll stay here, folks.
1st and 10 Panthers.
On a change of possession. The offenses and defenses already running out on the field. We want to mention this game is brought to you by Glenda and Jonna Austin, your shelter insurance agents in Fairbury. Prairie View Industries, North Highway 15 in Fairbury. Tim Hartley with Heberman Tree Service, Miller Sales in Clatonia, and Western United Mutual Insurance Home Office in Wilbur. 1st and 10 for Fillmore Central. They're finally starting in their own territory. Haven't had to do that yet tonight. First play is a handoff up the middle and a short gain by Trevor Roach. He picks up maybe about 5 yards to the 29-yard line, make it 2nd and 5 for Trevor Roach, the sophomore tailback. Fillmore Central, they want to make a deep playoff push this season. They feel as though they're good enough to do that. So do their home fans, as well as their coach, Gabe Eberhardt. It's a handoff up the middle. Looked like that was Luke Kimbrough, who maybe got a yard to the 30. It was a fake option play, but they handed it off to Kimbrough, who was met by the entire Wilber-Clatonia Linus defensive line. 3rd and 4 coming up here for Fillmore Central. Can Wilber-Clatonia's offense, or rather defense, get out on the field and let their offense back out? 2 tailbacks coming up here for Fillmore Central. Stesinis flips it to the Roach on the near side, trying to break tackles, and he's out of bounds at the line to gain maybe a yard short. We'll see what the far side official marks him, if it's going to be 4th and short or if it's 1st and 10. Roach got the flip to the far side, and they're going to mark him just a yard short, 4th and 1. And now this is the first test of Gabe Eberhardt's offense and they're going to send out the punt unit, I believe.
For the Panthers.
Stasenes, the QB, not happy. He is upset.
Ball's on the J&C.
Just a little upset at the situation of it being 4th and 1. And now Fillmore Central punts for the first time tonight. Cade Cooper, the senior, standing inside his own 20. And the returner is going to be Cash Kessler. Low snap. This one's booted. Lands inside the 35. Bounces all the way inside the 30. And at the 25. Oh, and this is going to be a penalty as well. Cash Kessler got bumped on the play by Michael Lockhart, the freshman. This is going to be illegal contact on Fillmore Central because they cannot touch the returner until the ball, or until he makes contact with the ball or doesn't signal a fair catch. This is going to be a penalty on Fillmore Central. Another mistake by the Panthers, which you just don't usually see with 38 seconds to go in the first quarter. They lead 14-0 over Wilber-Clatonia. While we wait for the call, this game is sponsored by Certified Truck and Trailer Repair in Geneva, Hilltop Performance and Fitness in Crete, Sat Bros of Philly, Crete, Lincoln, and Hanover, Kansas, and Thayer County's Health Services in Hebron, Bruning, Davenport, and Deschler. So this ball would have been spotted at the 25-yard line. Instead, they move all the way up, I believe. It's going to be the 46-yard line. Wow, that is a costly penalty on Fillmore Central. Wilber-Clatonia is out to midfield now. This is exactly what they needed. By the way, folks, the sun is coming out from behind the clouds. It has become a beautiful night as in the distance. Cornfields glowing gold almost from the sunlight. First play of the drive, it's a QB run. Pickup of about 3 yards for Skleba. There's a flag on the play in the middle of the field, right about the 50-yard line. And this came from the linebacker's position. So I can't really quite tell what this is quite yet. We'll wait for the referees. So this is going to be holding on Wilber-Clatonia. So they get favorable field position off the Fillmore Central penalty. And they hold and lose a few yards on that with 34 to play in the first quarter. Well, it was a disastrous start for Wilber-Clatonia. A 3-and-out to start the game, and then they let up a short touchdown drive by Fillmore Central. And then, after another 3-and-out deep in their own territory, after a few penalties off kickoffs, they had their punt blocked, and it was recovered in the end zone for the touchdown. So they actually, after that disastrous start, have actually really done well, bringing this back a little bit, giving their offense an opportunity with the scoreline only a 2-possession game, giving their offense a chance. 1st and 15 for Wilber-Clatonia after the holding call. Skleba takes the handoff. QB keeps it himself. Skleba powers forward and gets down at the 45. Mark it a pickup of 6 yards. Make it 2nd and 11 here.
After a gain of about 7.
So a solid pickup there by Skleba. He's been doing a really good job here in this game so far in these QB design runs. As we hit 10 seconds left in the first quarter, and we might be due for the second quarter unless Wilber-Clatonia finds it necessary to run another play. 5 seconds to play on 2nd and 11. They're going to snap it before the clock hits 0. They hand it off to Radcliffe, who pumps up field across midfield and down at the 44-yard line, right at the line to gain. They move the chains with a pickup of 11 on the final play of the first quarter. Wilber-Clatonia, with Carson Radcliffe, the tailback, finishes the quarter right with a first down carry. So we'll be back for the second quarter right after this from Geneva, Nebraska. 14-0 Fillmore Central leading it over Wilber-Clatonia, the number 7 team in the country, showing it to their home crowd tonight on Hawaii night. We'll be right back after this on All Right 99.5.